Something major is about to happen in the housing market, and you need to hear this warning today. You've been feeling uneasy about your home's value lately, haven't you? Those feelings aren't random. As a housing market analyst with connections to major financial institutions, I've discovered alarming information that most homeowners won't know until it's too late. Those strange real estate listings in your neighborhood, the unusual bank letters, the sudden increase in cash offer, flyers in your mailbox. These aren't coincidences. They're early warning signs of what's coming. The fact that you found this message today isn't random. It's because you need this information right now before the window of opportunity closes. What I'm about to share will explain everything that's been happening in your local housing market. All those little things that haven't made sense. Financial institutions don't want this information getting out, but you deserve to know what's coming for your biggest investment. Here's the shocking truth. Major financial institutions and investment firms are quietly preparing for a massive housing market flip that will catch millions of homeowners completely unprepared. This isn't speculation. I've seen the internal reports. While their public statements remain positive about strong housing fundamentals, their actions tell a completely different story. They're systematically repositioning billions in assets in preparation for what's coming. This housing flip won't happen everywhere at once. It's designed to roll through different neighborhoods and regions in waves, trapping homeowners in negative equity before they even realize what's happening. Once your neighborhood gets caught in this flip, your options narrow dramatically. Your home's value could drop 20 or 30% virtually overnight, while your mortgage remains the same. What makes this situation particularly dangerous is the closing window of opportunity. According to internal banking timelines I've accessed, most homeowners have less than 90 days to take action before the first major wave hits. After that, you'll be competing with thousands of other panicked sellers in a rapidly declining market. This moment right now, today, is your critical decision point. Those who recognize what's happening and take immediate action will protect their financial future. Those who wait will find themselves trapped in properties worth far less than they owe. Let me show you the evidence that's been hiding in plain sight. Have you noticed how major real estate listings in your area are suddenly sitting on the market longer despite price cuts? This isn't due to seasonal adjustments, as they claim. It's the first sign of buyer hesitation as institutional money quietly exits certain markets. Look at the unusual patterns in recent sales data. The ratio between listing price and selling price has started widening in specific neighborhoods first, the same pattern that preceded previous housing crashes, just before they became obvious to everyone. Pay attention to those cash for homes operations suddenly becoming more aggressive in your area. They're not just random investors. Many are actually fronts for larger institutions trying to acquire properties before owners realize what's happening. They offer convenience, but at steep discounts because they know what's coming. Have you received notices from your bank about changes to home equity lines or refinancing options? Banks are quietly tightening lending standards in targeted zip codes, while publicly claiming they're expanding access to credit. Real estate investment trusts, REITs, that own residential properties are quietly selling off holdings in specific markets while their CEOs publicly claim strong market conditions. Their SEC filings tell the real story if you know where to look. The historical patterns are unmistakable. Before every major housing correction, we see the same sequence. Institutional selling increases, lending standards tighten selectively, and cash buyers become more aggressive, all while public messaging remains positive. This exact pattern is happening right now in neighborhoods just like yours. The forces behind this coming housing flip aren't random market conditions. They're calculated moves by specific entities. Major investment banks have created specialized divisions focused on residential market transitions, a euphemism for profiting from housing downturns. These same institutions that publicly promote home ownership are privately building massive funds designed to acquire distressed properties. Private equity firms have raised unprecedented amounts of capital specifically earmarked for residential acquisition during market adjustment periods. They need average homeowners to remain unaware until their properties lose value, creating buying opportunities at deeply discounted prices. These institutions issue positive housing reports publicly, while their proprietary trading desks take massive short positions against mortgage-backed securities. They're literally betting billions against the very market they're telling you remains strong. Regional banks have been quietly directed to tighten lending in specific zip codes first, creating the domino effect that will spread to surrounding areas. They've created internal market sensitivity lists, ranking neighborhoods by vulnerability. The same financial players who benefited from the last housing crisis have spent years positioning themselves for this moment. They've learned that housing crashes create the greatest wealth transfer opportunities, from average homeowners to institutional investors. Their advanced preparation depends entirely on most people not seeing what's coming until escape becomes impossible. Now that you understand what's happening, let me share specific steps to protect yourself before this housing flip impacts your neighborhood. First, you need to determine your property's vulnerability timeline. Properties in these specific situations face the earliest risk. Homes in neighborhoods with recent rapid price appreciation, properties in areas with high investor ownership percentages, and homes in regions with declining population but increasing housing inventory. If you're planning to stay in your current home long-term and have substantial equity, your first priority should be equity protection. Contact your lender immediately about rate locking options for existing home equity. Complete this step within the next 14 days before lending standards tighten further. For properties you've owned less than 5 years with minimal equity, selling before the market shifts may be your safest option. Here's a critical weekly monitoring checklist. First, track the average days on market for comparable properties in your neighborhood. When this number increases for 3 consecutive weeks, your window is closing. Second, monitor the spread between asking and selling prices. When this gap exceeds 5%, institutional money is already exiting. Third, watch for sudden increases in listing inventory. A 15% rise over normal seasonal patterns signals the beginning of market anxiety. For homeowners who can't relocate immediately, consider converting your property to a rental with a minimum 2-year lease before the flip begins. This creates cash flow protection even as property values decline temporarily. If you're within 5 years of retirement, this housing shift dramatically changes your strategy. Accessing equity now provides crucial flexibility that disappears once the flip begins. You'll know these protection steps are working when you feel increasing clarity while others around you express growing confusion about changing market conditions. Property values might still decline, but your financial position remains secure because you've positioned yourself strategically before the shift became obvious to everyone. If relocating is your best protection option, timing and destination selection are everything. The safest housing markets share specific characteristics: strong local employment not dependent on single industries, population growth driven by relocation, not just birth rates, and housing inventory that's maintained, healthy balance between supply and demand. Avoid the common mistake of choosing destinations based on current low prices alone. Many apparently affordable markets will experience the sharpest declines specifically because their low prices have attracted excessive investor activity that will unwind rapidly. Second, tier cities within 2 hours of major metropolitan areas offer the strongest protection profile. These hub-adjacent locations benefit from migration patterns during housing adjustments without facing the extreme volatility of primary markets. Communities with diversified employer bases and strong local governance typically maintain stability, even during broader market corrections. For those who need transitional solutions, consider these temporary housing bridges. Lease, option arrangements that defer buying decisions until after the market stabilizes. Extended, stay housing that provides flexibility without long-term commitment, or temporary downsizing to more affordable housing types within your current region. The ideal relocation timeline begins with securing your new housing situation before listing your current property. This sequence provides maximum negotiating leverage and prevents becoming stuck between transactions as market conditions deteriorate. For families with school-aged children, timing your move to coincide with natural educational transition points reduces disruption, while the temporary inconvenience of mid-year relocation is far outweighed by the financial protection it provides against what's coming. Beyond housing itself, you need to protect your overall financial position from the spillover effects of this market flip. First, reassess your debt structure immediately. Housing market shifts typically coincide with broader credit tightening. Consolidate variable rate debt into fixed rate options now, while lenders remain accommodating. Create a strategic cash reserve representing 6.8 months of expenses. This provides crucial flexibility during market transitions, while creating opportunities to acquire undervalued assets when others face liquidity pressure. Position these funds in federally insured accounts with no market exposure. Review your investment portfolio for hidden real estate exposure. Many mutual funds and retirement accounts contain significant positions in mortgage-backed securities and real estate investment trusts that will face pressure during this housing adjustment. 4. Homeowners approaching retirement. This market shift requires immediate protection steps. The standard financial planning assumption of tapping home equity during retirement becomes dangerous when housing values decline significantly. Reposition retirement assets to reduce correlation with residential real estate performance. Strengthen your income security by developing secondary revenue streams independent of your primary employment. Housing market corrections often trigger broader economic effects that impact job security precisely when financial flexibility becomes most crucial. Remember that financial resilience during housing market shifts comes not just from protecting what you have, but positioning yourself to capitalize on the opportunities that inevitably emerge when markets reset. While most will view this housing flip as a crisis, those properly positioned will recognize it as a rare wealth-building opportunity. Throughout history, housing market transitions have created more millionaires than virtually any other economic event, but only for those who understand what's happening before the masses. After the initial adjustment phase, specific housing categories will experience unprecedented buying opportunities. Properties in transitional neighborhoods with strong fundamental appeal but temporary price depression will offer acquisition potential at 60 to 70% of current values. This creates the possibility of generational wealth building through strategic purchasing during the correction. Those who relocate strategically before the flip gain two powerful advantages. They protect existing housing wealth while creating capacity to acquire new assets during the buyer's market that inevitably follows. This dual position strategy has historically produced the strongest financial outcomes. The coming market transition will eliminate the artificial price inflation that has made homeownership increasingly difficult for many. By repositioning now, you create options for your family while others face increasingly limited choices. Remember that previous housing shifts followed predictable recovery patterns. Areas with diverse economic drivers, strong educational systems, and desirable lifestyle characteristics rebounded first and strongest. By understanding these patterns, you can position not just for protection, but for prosperity through this market cycle. This warning has reached you at precisely the right moment, when you still have time to act before this housing flip impacts your financial future. The protective steps outlined today won't remain effective once the broader market recognizes what's happening. Your immediate action creates the difference between financial protection and potential disaster. Begin your protection plan today, not next week or next month. The market signals indicate a rapidly narrowing window of opportunity before the first major wave of this housing flip begins. Your family's financial security hangs in the balance of decisions made in the coming days. Show your appreciation for this crucial warning by supporting this channel with super thanks. This support allows us to continue monitoring these market developments and providing updates as this situation evolves. Remember, the strategies shared today have helped thousands of families protect their housing wealth through previous market transitions. Trust that this information, though concerning, reached you at exactly the right time to take protective action.